Hello, everyone. Dr. Victoria Scarborough here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. I thought I'd do a quick card read on the full moon that's coming up. For some, it's on the 7th, and for others, it's on the 8th. So here on the East Coast of the US, it's on the 7th. And I think maybe in Australia, it's on the 7th. And maybe the West Coast and further west, it's the 8th. That changes the vibration of the day a little bit, but the full moon is the full moon. And this full moon is in Gemini, and it's conjunct Mercury, Mars retrograde in Gemini. In fact, it occults it, meaning that the moon covers up Mars in the sky, which is interesting, right? Because the moon is symbolic of the feminine and Mars, the masculine. You know, in some sort of rethinking, maybe the whole idea of masculinity. Very interesting. So I just thought I'd pull some cards on it, get some vibes. I did a segment with Ona from Ona's Tarot. We did our Moonshine episode, which we always do Moonshine on her channel and Moon Shadows on my channel. The shadow knows. Anyway, so you can check that out. It's pretty good. We have some funny stuff, some cool stories, and a lot of good astrology talk. So I'm using the wild unknown because, right? I mean, it's been wild. This full moon in Mars does sit on Trump's Uranus. So we can expect that not to calm down anytime soon. And especially what he's saying. He's going to say whatever he needs to say. This guy is trying to talk himself, out of a falling tower. And he's going to ask his people to do whatever it is that, there's no limit with him. There's nothing that he thinks is out of the realm of possibility for him to get his needs met. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay, ready. Plus the North Node is still in a conjunction with Uranus. So the future is in a way unknown, yet uncovering itself in these bursts and fits and starts and explosions and sudden changes and all this Uranus stuff, right? So first card up, the death card. This is a death of sort for some person, some part of your life. And death, of course, is a part of life. It's the other side of life. And it's a change. So something has to be left and you have to move on to something new. And I feel like we have a real awareness that we cannot continue to do things like we've always done. And I don't think it's just personal stuff, and it's not just political stuff. We can't live on this planet the way that we have. There's 8 billion people on the planet now. We cannot expect to survive. Forget about thrive, just survive if we don't start doing things differently. And there's an awareness around that, because that's what the full moon is about. It's about awareness. The challenge is the Daughter of Pentacles. The challenge is where to begin. Where to begin? Everything is so there's volcanoes here and there, and we're not gonna be able to breathe, and the storms. I mean, I don't know about you, but it doesn't ever just rain anymore. It just it's nuts. And we've lost a lot of trees. I mean, I guess they were either diseased or they were, but I mean, it's not, it's been a very rough ride. So it seems overwhelming. It seems overwhelming. What's the first step that you take? I have a theory, which I'm not going to necessarily say unless it comes up in the cards. I'll try to be impartial. I can't be. At the root is the Mother of Cups. The Mother of Cups is the queen that nurtures, the queen that knows things, the queen that can put her energy tentacles out and know what somebody's feeling. And not only know how somebody's feeling, but know how to quell that, knows how to quell that. It's a beautiful energy, the Queen of Cups. And that's at the root of this. This can also be about making a big change and taking care of yourself, because death is a big change, and the Daughter of Pentacles is about the body. It's earth of earth elementally. And like, what do we need to do to nurture our bodies? And what do we need to do to nurture our souls? With the Mother of Cups at the bottom of that reading. Let's see what's in the past. We can only imagine. I love this card. It's one of my favorite cards in the deck. Of this deck especially, not so much the Rider-Waite, it's not as interesting to me, but this is the Three of Wands. And it's like a view into another dimension. We have had a view into another way of being, and one that's not so fraught. And what are we doing to each other? And why do we, why do people have to starve so that some people can have like planes, like personal planes? I mean, I understand if you have a business and you have to get places, you need planes. I mean, it's okay. But like personal, so you can go on your yacht, you can take your plane to your yacht, so you can take your yacht to what, to do what? What are you doing? Like, what is that? I would imagine a life like that is super boring. I don't know, it's just the way, probably why I'm not rich, because like that kind of like all that leisurely stuff. I mean, I can understand like a leisurely life, and then bringing more culture into the world. That I do understand. But just to like hang around and, I don't know, not have to work, it just seems to me. And the sky is the moon. The moon comes up on the full moon. So let me just say this. This full moon is can be a wonderful experience and an illumination, a real look at what you've been doing, maybe a reevaluation of how you've been doing things with Mars being retrograde, listening, which is the opposition. And so it's a beautiful time. Like, we can make a lot of this, or we can go totally nuts, because that's what the moon card talks about. It's just about like this woo, of the emotions and the feelings, and people just are not stable. When the moon comes up, there's instability, and there's a lot of instability out there. And that's just something that you need to be aware of and not really get caught up in. You don't want to push that. You don't want to poke the bear, as it were. Step back a little bit. Don't stop. You know what I'm saying? Step back a bit and allow space, because people are scared, prickly. It hasn't been, nobody's having fun really, except for maybe a couple people on their yachts. Don't you think that we all need to have fun? We all need to have like little boat parties. Oh God. But in the immediate future, we have the Four of Wands. And in this deck, this speaks to me of focusing on the life you want to see. That's where your focus needs to be. Not on these crazy nut job ex-presidents or super geniuses. Don't just I know they have power. Well, I don't know how much power. I know they wield things. But if we ignore them, they lose their power. You know that, right? So you maybe want to focus on the life you want to see for yourself. What kind of life do you want to live? Is it full of fun? Is it full of relaxation? There's nothing wrong with relaxing. I was talking about me being bored with like not working. Full with meaningful work that makes you feel like I love to work when I feel like I'm doing something meaningful. Otherwise, I'd rather not do it, quite frankly. Oh, God. How it's seen from outside. The Five of Swords. There's a lot of very cruel things happening out there. We have to be very careful. But that does not have to be your reality. The thing with Gemini is it's about duality. So heaven and hell, you get to choose. Hopes and fears. Six of Wands. I like this Six of Wands card. It's like this little butterfly like comes out of the brambles, right? Rises up among, beyond the things that can ensnare us. Sort of flying above it all. That's a hope. I don't think it's a fear. I don't think anybody fears that there's not enough chaos, or at least nobody I know. And the outcome is the Nine of Pentacles, feathering your nest. This is about being in the safety of the bosom of your own nest. Now, your nest doesn't have to be a home. It can be an apartment. It can be a family home. It can even just be a place in the woods. I mean, if that's where you feel safe, then that sort of, and I think that it's interesting because I believe this card, right, is reflected in this card quite a bit. And this is the idea, this is the fire. And then this is the manifestation of that idea. This full moon is very powerful, and I'll tell you why. Because it gives you insight into everything that's come before. This is a Gemini full moon with Mars. And we've been in a 6 vibration all year since the beginning of 2022. The sixth card in the tarot is the Lover's card. It's about choice. You have the choice between heaven and hell. What is your choice? What is your choice? Underneath it all, I love this card. This is the Two of Wands. Coming together. You don't have to be physically close together to be spiritually close. Do you know what I'm saying? Or you don't have to necessarily be in the same place. There's this sense of connecting our minds and our intuition together to help to bring about the life that we want. And we have the Devil card in this deck. And I actually love this Devil card. The Devil card very often is like, oh, it's evil, it's this, it's that. But the Devil, this is a Capricorn card. Pluto is in Capricorn. This is the last year that Pluto is in Capricorn for the whole year. So this is like the last hurrah for Pluto in Capricorn, right? Venus spent the beginning of the year, the end of last year, the beginning of this year, retrograde in Capricorn. Pluto in Capricorn. This is control, right? Control over the feminine body, all this stuff, right? It's put a fire under our feet to realize that no. It's almost like one of my teachers, one of my most profound teachers that I've had in my life has a saying, sometimes you have to be bad enough and sad enough to decide that you don't want that anymore. And sometimes you have to see things in the starkest of terms. What is America? I mean, the amount of pride of and understanding of what it truly means to have a democracy. Um, I've been voting since I was 18. I've always had a political point of view, but I've never felt patriotic to the country, interestingly enough. But I understand now more than I've ever understood that it's not the country necessarily, but it's the ideal of what this could be if we allowed it, if we could get out of our fear, which is very hard because cancer, America's a cancer country and cancer, no, it's not, to step out of that fear zone and move into that moving forward zone, or just not backing away and like moving into your life. Just imagine what we can do with the cooperation of technology, right? Most of our technology we use to kill people. That's where it starts usually. And then we bring it down to the average person so they can have a washing machine. Like, I don't know if that's really connected, but that's just like an example. No, it might be because I think washing machines came out of Westinghouse, and I think Westinghouse came out of the war. Well, anyway, let's not get on that tangent. So this full moon is reminding us that we've seen a lot. We know more than we've ever known before, even though some people don't get the whole story about stuff and they only get like one like sort of biased view of things. That's just one part. That's not everybody. That's just those people who are saying, why don't you want to see what's going on here? Why are you having blind faith in somebody who doesn't even deserve a tip if he was your butler? Because he's just not a nice guy. He's just not he just doesn't, you know what I'm saying? So of course he deserves a tip. Everybody deserves a tip, even him. Okay. So that's what I see. Oh, is there one more? I think I got all of them, right? I think there's one more card. We have the Father of Cups. Oh, sweet. And I said Joe Biden would show up. Father of Cups isn't always about Joe Biden, but what the Father of Cups is, it comes together with the Mother of Cups. And it's yin and yang, right? It's the balancing of the masculine and the feminine in love, cups, balancing that out. So I think we have great opportunity for healing with this full moon. Really, really good opportunity. Neptune and Jupiter are in Pisces until the 20th, and then Jupiter moves into Aries again. But this is like a real healing bomb. There's a real energy of healing. And I just want to say something about that, that I think that we do it all the time. And sometimes we do it. It's not like we don't do it. We do it. And then we forget just how fantastic and amazing it is. And I want to share a story. Last night, I got a call from the nursing home. And some of you people who watch me in the morning know this story. That my mother, who had been testing positive for COVID, they test them every other day. She was still positive after 5 days. And I said, well, you'll test her again in 2 days and I can see if I can come see her, because they don't want you to come if they have COVID. So, but she wasn't sick. So I wasn't worried about it. And then they called me up last night and said she spiked a fever and her oxygen is down like 86 or something like that, which is low. And it might have even been lower, but in my mind, I heard 86 because that's what I think I wanted to hear. I think it was 83, or 82. Anyway, it doesn't matter. She's 102, my mother, Angelina. And so I went there. I got all geared up. I had all the equipment on because they don't want you to get sick. I wasn't worried, but it's protocol, and I do it because they don't just ask you to do it for no reason. There are reasons for it, and it does reduce, your chances of getting sick or getting somebody else sick, which was always my fear, of course, cancer that I am. And so I went, and I thought this was going to be the last day I saw her. She had 102 fever. She was on oxygen. they said, we're just going to keep her comfortable. Is that okay? You want us to take her to the hospital? I'm like, no, don't take her to the hospital. She's 102. I don't want her moved around. I don't want none of that, right? She's okay. They're very nice there. They're very good there. I would do a commercial for them if they asked me to. It's Royal in Fairhaven, Royal Nursing Facility in Fairhaven, Massachusetts. Wonderful people. Not the fanciest place, but heart, where it matters. Doesn't matter how fancy it is, nobody has heart there. So I came home and I was, telling a few of my family members that I think that this might be it, blah, blah, blah. And in the morning, I, told people. And today she had no fever. When I got there, she was talking. Now she has dementia, so she's not really talking to me, but I know she's trying to communicate, and she gets agitated. She'll repeat these, she'll repeat, but I know, and she grabbed my hand and she reached up for it. So I know that she was very aware in her physical body of what was going on. So, but there was so much healing energy coming her way between you guys and my husband, who does receivings, a special sort of energetic healing that actually was channeled through him after they were trying to get his attention to get him to do it, his guides. And he wasn't paying attention. He's like, no, I got to do this. I have a job here. I got a job here. I got to do this job and that job. That the universe gave him a seizure. And he broke his shoulders. It was like he was up in a cast like this for like months and months. Couldn't do anything. All he could do was use his finger and be on the computer, because that was the really, he couldn't do anything else. And this thing came through him. And so that energy, and then Reiki, and then all my friends all my friends pretty much are healers. They do one sort of healing or another, doctors and nurses and healers and astrologers and metaphysicians. Those are the people that I hang out with. Sometimes I forget that not everybody talks like that. And I sometimes will go to a family function and start talking about stuff, and people look at me like I have 3 heads, because they don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So all that energy coming, and she's now she's 102, so I don't expect her to jump up and start doing the jig. That's not what it's about, but just allowing it to be easy and not to be so fraught, and just for it to flow in the way that it's supposed to flow, gently, going gently off into the night. We can do that for each other. We don't, not so we all leave the planet, but just that energy makes such a huge difference. And I think that we need to be we need to be doing it. Just do it, man. Like Adidas was right. Just do the healing. Just do the healing. All right, guys. Thank you so very much. I just wanted to let you know Mom was doing much better. No fever. But we'll see. She's 102. But thank you so much for all your beautiful comments on my channel, and all the beautiful energy you sent to me. I feel it. I feel so blessed. Even before this, I just feel like I'm on this wave of blessing that we can all get on. See, that's the thing. This is not an exclusive party. We can all get on in the party. You just have to allow it and accept it and receive it. Okay. I want to thank you so very much. Maybe I can get Michael on again, and we can have a little chit chat with Michael about the healing, but I'll see what I can do. He's kind of camera shy. He does not have a Leo rising. I have a Leo rising. You probably know, because I never stop, right, being out there, but he's got a Cancer rising. So even though he's an Aries and he's super almost like tigerish, like sees opportunities and just has a real good instinct about him. He's shy. So uh, that's the dealio, guys. All right, have yourself a wonderful full moon. Be careful out there. Be careful traveling, especially traveling. If you don't have to travel, don't. And if you do have to travel, be extra careful. Just be aware of what's around you. Um, it's erratic energy out there, and Mars is about driving and stuff like that. And then there's always the weather. So just be extra cautious with that. Have a wonderful full moon, and I'll see you down the road, of course, as I always do. And tomorrow night, I'm going to be doing something with Marianne from Revealing Light. So I'm really excited about that. We're going to look at some charts. We're going to pull some cards, chit chat a little bit. It'll be fun. All right, guys, take care. Love you. Namaste.